Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome back for those of you who are familiar with my channel. Those of you that are new, I got like 150 new subscribers while I was gone, which for me, that's a lot. My 2-week hiatus is over. I am back from my trip to Italy. I am inspired, perspired, expired, and I'm happy to see you. And a little tired, just to round out the rhyme. Yeah, so today we're working on a new Black Marrow page for book 2. And I expect to see some familiar faces coming in the chat, maybe some new ones, you know. And it might be, Sunday streams, weekend streams in general are usually pretty low-key and not that many people come in, but maybe we'll get some surprises. Coming up the next few days, I do have, at the end of the month, another episode of The Big Draw with Steven Zapata returning. That's going to be cool. He and I are going to be following up some of our points of conversation. I'm really excited to talk to him again. He's a really smart guy. And yeah, that's where we're at. Welcome. And if anyone is new to the channel, I'm Ryan. I'm an artist. I draw comics for a living. And sometimes I do it in front of people for the sheer rush of it. No, mostly because it's like a nice way to socialize. Johnny Pearson's already here. What's up, Johnny? How you doing, man? Okay, I'm gonna flatten in some of these colors. Hey, what's up, Nick? So what's up, Nick? Mr. DeLuca, how you doing, man? Johnny, what are you up to tonight? You working? If you guys are wondering what I'm doing, I keep going back to this other page up top as another layer so I can drop in the same colors to keep the colors somewhat consistent. Are you working on some commissions? That's cool. Did you get a string of them? That's good, man. It's good it's a good problem to have if it's a problem at all. Nicholas DeLuca says, I wouldn't say a string, but I got two and I'm just very slow, so it's like a string, but I'm not making a ton of money. Hey, listen, man, that's great, though. That's a great place to start. Killing it. Some people don't even get commissions, so don't you worry. Can I ask what are the commissions of? Like, well, what kind of work are they giving you? I'm going to try something here with an overlay. It may not work at all. It might be a terrible idea. Can't say much. It's NDA. Oh, cool. But I say it's for their card game Rush of Ichor. Cool. Congrats, man. I mean, maybe it's not the congratulations. Maybe you're already getting commission, so it's not that big a deal. But still, I'm happy for you. Gross Girl, how are you? How you doing, Gigi? I was hoping you'd show up. I was hoping you'd poke your head into my bar. Get in my joint. I don't know. Is this overlay? Is this overlay really doing anything for us? Maybe very soft. There you go. Gross Girl says, I'm good. I've been trying to catch up on some work. I've been sick most of the week. I'm so sorry. How was your honeymoon? It was awesome. It was great. It was 2 weeks of beautiful artwork in Italy and incredible food and just... I like the light, she says, but I don't love the yellow. Yeah, it's supposed to be candlelight, or like a dim lantern, I should say. Here, let me adjust the camera. Sorry, everybody hold on to your butts. There you go. There you go. I turned down the saturation a bit. Is that okay? So less saturation is better. Works better for you. Awesome. Then it stays. I gotta check the colors on this costume of hers to make sure I'm accurate. Okay, it is green. Okay, all right. All right, it's official. I'm changing the music. Then I will check the comments. I see that I missed a few. Going to put on a FromSoft soundtrack for a little bit until I can figure out what else I'm going to do. Let's see. I'm really sorry you've been sick, by the way. What are your symptoms? Cold, cough, sneezing, headaches, headache, fever, indigestion. Um, what sort of places did you guys visit? Well, Gigi, we arrived in Rome, and we spent 3 days in Rome, and then we did 3 days in Florence, and then we did 3 days in Venice. And then we came back to Rome for the last day and a half, and then we came back home. And yeah, it was great. I did while we were in Rome. I spent most of my time at the Vatican, because as for the rest of the city, I didn't really care that much. I'm not a city person, so like I did not enjoy. Like after leaving the city, a year ago and moving to the country, I was like, oh man. I was walking around Rome and like remembering why I needed to like leave the city and live in the country. It was just a lot. It was just like a lot of rude, impatient people, and like I was like having the experience of being a tourist. And when I was living in the city, people would get frustrated with people who were out of towners who like didn't know the ethics of like certain things, or the etiquette, I should say, not the ethics, the etiquette of like when you're walking down the street, don't block the street, don't all that stuff. And I just found a lot of people in Rome to be very rude and like not just really unkind, and how they acted, and their general demeanor was like not something I liked. And but beyond that, I mean, the Vatican was incredible. Like I got to see the Sistine Chapel in person and look up at that incredible work. The biggest, the biggest thing for me the whole trip, the most incredible, wonderful thing was St. Peter's Basilica. Actually, I think I shared a bunch of those pictures with you guys on the Discord. Absolutely incredible. I had to go when we got back to Rome in the last couple of days. I went back to the Basilica just to look at it again, because I was like, I cannot believe this is real. Like I can't believe somebody was able to do this. It's so huge and it's so beautiful that it just absolutely like captured my imagination. Like I couldn't stop thinking about you know how amazing it was. Truly. And Venice and Florence are both beautiful and very different from each other and very different from Rome. The people in Florence and Venice were much nicer, and I was much happier with my social interactions there. And Malka agreed. Yeah, no, it was great. It was a great trip. Malka got sick after after the first like 3 or 4 days. She actually came down with something, and it was largely because when we were on the plane, there was a guy on the plane ride over. Some guy was coughing and sneezing, and she got it, and I didn't. I never got sick with it, even though I was with her the whole time. And so for like 3 days, she was like not really able to do that much. We would walk a little bit, and then she would have to go lie down because she was so sick, and she was so disappointed that she missed that time. But then she started feeling better, and we just picked up the pace and did a bunch of great stuff in our last few days. And then she felt good again about the trip and was like happy, because she was like, I can't believe this would happen on our big trip to Italy that we've been planning for like over a year. And then I had this whole speech where I was like, listen, it's like for me, like traveling like this, it's not about everything being perfect all the time. It's about an adventure. And I was like, adventures, things go wrong. There's conflict, there's stakes, the things, they don't go your way, and then you have to like recalibrate, and then you have your final charge of the adventure where things get a little better. And so that's the, and she was like, oh yeah, you know what, that's a really good approach. Like this is an adventure, and sometimes like bad things happen on an adventure, and then you can just work with it and make some good things happen. Edgar, you're not hearing the squeaks in my chair? It feels like it's just nonstop for me. It's like every time I can't fart in this chair without a squeak, and not just as one that comes from me. I'm looking back at some of Gigi's comments. Your word is law. It's true. You're asking. I don't keep all the layers. No, I typically just drop every time a panel looks good. I collapse the layers into each other. I just keep doing that. I keep it like right now. I have 3 working layers and then a line art layer, and then I have this extra layer, which is just a previous page that I'm using as like a to map out the colors and make sure all the colors drop in the same. Yeah, and I don't really go too heavy with layers. I kind of just keep it very simple. Which I'm told is an odd thing to do, but I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It just is how it is for me. I don't like having too many layers. I don't like it. I just don't. It always feels like I don't like having to remember that much. And having to do that thing where you go up and down through the layer. I mean, every now and then you'll definitely see me like with 10 layers or something. But overall, I keep it. I literally most of my pages it's like 4 layers, 3. Line art, color, and a background color. Possibly sometimes I'll do something where it's like here's a multiply layer for shadow and stuff, but that doesn't last long. How are you, Edgar? How you doing, buddy? Nicholas says you broke out the hero's journey to comfort your wife. Yeah, damn right. You're damn right I did. It worked. I was so surprised that it worked too, because I was like, listen, like, this is an adventure. It's like you wouldn't want a vacation where everything was perfectly in time. You'd want a little bit of intrigue, oh, she's sick, what's she gonna do? That's not how I worded it. I was much more convincing, I promise you. Really. The squeaking gives you permission to fart as you have something to blame. It's true. But the problem is that the sound of my fart and the sound of the squeaks they're very different. The squeaking sounds like a haunted house door and like on a keyboard when you push the button, and it's like very typical. My fart, in comparison, my fart sounds like a French ambulance crashing into an accordion. Squeaking. I have to hoard something, so I might as well hoard layers. It's brave of you to compress it all so often. Yeah, it's mostly just out of like I for one, I don't know how other people are with this, but I just need things to be simple so that I can keep my head focused on what matters in an image. I like to keep it as simple as possible. Oh, you were sick too, man. Everybody's getting sick. How did I avoid it? Oh, I shouldn't say that. Now I'm gonna get sick. You watch. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't catch what Malka had, because she was in a pretty bad way for a few days. She was just a coughing, sneezing mess. Her cough, she still kind of has it lingering a little bit, but sorry guys, I'm just checking something. Previous pages, I want to see what the colors of these chairs are. Okay, they're like similar to the curtains. Got it! I am sick and I just don't know it. Ah, that does sound... That rings true. It seems like the kind of thing that would happen. Nicholas DeLuca says, I have to ask, after the vacation, is there any redesigns you're going to make to your character after seeing all that great art? So interestingly, there's nothing that I would change about this current project. You know, there's nothing that I would change about Black Marrow in terms of his look or the look of that world. But it did inspire me to want to, like, of something I'd want to do in the future, of doing like I was something I wanted to pitch when I talked to Dan. I wanted to see what he thought of this because he's kind of like he's been kind of a sounding board for a lot of ideas. Yeah, it was good. I was like, oh, it'd be really cool if somebody took the excuse me, if somebody took the world of like something similar to Warhammer 40K. You know, where it's like 40,000 years in the future, but it's kind of feels like the past. The term I would use for that and Dune, you know, Dune, Dune, is ancient futurism. I think that that's like an pretty apt term for that style of design and that mindset of just like, you know, it's so far in the future that it feels like the past, like that kind of thing. I would want to like do something, and I was thinking about it the whole trip, how cool it would be to do like ancient futurism, like thousands of years in the future, and interstellar civilization, but it's all based on Renaissance religious artwork. So instead of like big bulky gothic stuff like what Warhammer does, it's like, you know, imagining huge starships and enormous space stations that look like the basilica, you know, with like the religious sculptures and the opulence and the marble and fluid shapes and like Baroque architecture, like that kind of thing. Yeah, I was thinking about that and being like, oh, that'd be cool as hell. And like, instead of the Space Marines who were like the 10-foot tall warriors, you get like, you know, archangels that look like the stone sculptures of a basilica, you know, and they're you know, these 10-foot archangels, maybe they're battling demons out in space, and it kind of looks like a Renaissance painting, you know, or some of the most incredible paintings I've seen, like the big ceiling tiles. Like, I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to take those types of depictions of the battles between good and evil. You make it interstellar. You make it something like, you know, yeah, I don't know. It was just awesome. And I was imagining like archangels that look like the ones you see in the paintings, like airborne and in the what do you call it? The dead of space, you know, flying around, and lancers, and just like big tableaus. And I was like, oh, you know, I have I have like a couple of contacts in gaming. Maybe I should see if I can put together an IP and, you know, intellectual property pitch for something like that, because I haven't done that in a long time. I did that years ago with another project. It didn't pan out, but, you know. Jacobo says, if you make that comic, can I illustrate a cover? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you know, fuck it. I would even, I would definitely want to see what kind of cover you would do. Like a variant cover. I don't even know if it would be a comic. Like, when I was thinking of it, I was like, man, this might even be better as like a, sorry, I'm blanking. Oh, like a video game, you know? It feels like it would be really good as a gaming IP, more so than comics, perhaps. Who's like 50 years old and awesome? Your friend who you're going to hang out with later who's 50 years old and awesome? Interesting. Welcome back, Gigi. I'm sorry you're sick, man. That sucks. I'm basically free of the sickness, just residual cough, mucus, and extra limbs. Oh, the extra limbs are the worst part. Yeah, I've always hated that part of the common cold is when you grow a second leg. Oh wait, are we supposed to have two? I lose count. I've been sick so many times. I have to point out, it is kind of funny that I'm playing like Bloodborne action music during one of the few scenes in this comic that's not a fight sequence of some kind. It's just him sitting in a chair, and it's like, whatever. Hopefully, you guys can forgive me for the incongruity of it all. It literally looks like he's napping, and it's like epic choir Bloodborne music. I don't like what I did there. I'm gonna just not do it. You know, and the forehead is not the ideal place to grow an extra hand. Although I don't know where it would be. Like, I don't know what would be the optimal place to grow one. Okay, what am I doing? Yes, this. Okay. Look at me collapsing the layers. Oh my Gordon. Oh my god. Yeah, layers collapse. Look at that. Boom. Now it's just this one. What I can't, you know, it's like I can't say "look at me" without thinking about Rick and Morty, Mr. Meeseeks. Like I just can't. I can't do it. It's just hard. It's like impossible to not think about. I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me. Well, it's funny you should say that, Edgar, because he is taking a dump while epic orchestral music is playing. But could you please stop spoiling the book for people? Like, what are you doing? Now everybody knows he's taking a dump in the book. You see, this is why I shouldn't have started streaming. I shouldn't have done it. People know they spoil the book. I was going to break new ground. Nobody ever shows classical heroes taking dumps on trains. Like, nobody does it. This is going to be how I entered the stratosphere of the great artists of this medium. I was watching a werewolf take a painful shit on a moving train. But now the surprise is ruined. Black Werewolf scratches his arm. Raucous male orc choir crescendos. Yeah, it's true. That's exactly that's the mood. That's what we're going for here. Oh, you know what? There is something I actually... There's like ambience for like trains. I'm going to find that. This one, yeah. Can you guys hear that? It's the sound of a moving train. Maybe it doesn't register. If it sounds just like white noise, then I'll change it, but... Well, honestly, Gross Girl, I'm afraid that if I lean into the mic and go chugga chugga like that, I'm going to get demonetized because it's a little too sexy. You know, I don't know how much I really want to entice people. Oh my god. Come on, come on. There you go. What do you guys think of these train sounds? Is this calming? I find this very calming. Do you feel like you're watching me draw on a train now? Got to break out the watercolor brushes. Oops, too big. Too big. There you go. Chugga Chugga Senorita, Black Marrow says, well, shirtless. Well, I'll have you know, when I was doing the sketch covers for this book, I got some DMs with some interesting requests from some of our lovely female readers here at Ryan's house. Pretty interesting cats. I might have to do I don't know. I might have to do a Black Marrow thirst book at some point. That's just him being hot, just looking sexy at the camera or something. Cause man, he's a thirst trap. I mean, I wanted him to be attractive, but I did not know that it was going to be like the main reason that some people buy the book. Cause I mean, whatever. Like, I'm glad they bought it, and like I support their their wanton physical need for Black Marrow. But yeah, I stumbled onto something with that. I didn't realize that it was going to be like that for some of the people that read it, where it's just like they just find him super hot. I didn't know it'd be that intense for some of them, and I did not predict that I would have a fair amount of furries, a fair amount. The book talk crowd is a great untapped market. Yeah. Untapped. Yeah, just a calendar of him dressed as a firefighter. Yeah, no, I got like a couple of requests for him nude, like him like doing a sexy nude pose. People wanting to know what his private man area looks like. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, whatever you picture, you're never going to see it in the book. I don't have plans to have him go full frontal, so whatever you imagine is probably accurate as far as head lore goes. What do you call it? Head canon. Interesting. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. The answer is very hairy. That is precisely what I was. Yeah. I mean, he is going to appear shirtless at some point, just because, like, a character living out in the woods, traveling, he's going to be. And I know that when I draw that, it's gonna be sales are gonna go through the roof. I don't know. It feels like that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna become like, I'm interested in that idea that, like, I get the impression there's some people that just bought the book just because for that, and I find that really interesting because you can get that kind of thrill from like a character who's sexy. You can kind of get that same voyeur thrill from really anything, just like any piece of media that the internet's full of that stuff. So to invest in a book, a comic book I should say, and it's pretty cool, it's pretty interesting that somebody would do that, and I'm happy about it. That's nice. It's nice. It's strange. It's new to me. It's a new feeling. but I'm going to check the chat in a second, guys. Sorry. I'm very sorry. Be patient. I just need to... I need to flat this before I can be done with this. I'm almost done with this page, and this page has been sitting on my incomplete pile for like a long time. Gotta draw a shirtless cover when you do that. Oh, yeah, right. I should do like a cover of him like getting out of the water. Man. Okay. Maybe I'll make it like a stretch goal, the next Kickstarter. Like if 200 people buy it this time, I'll do like a giveaway poster or something. Yeah. Yeah. You're shocked that they haven't made Black Mirror Rule 34. Listen, I'm not shocked. The book, I know it seems, because you guys interact with me all the time, it seems like he's really relevant culturally, but he's he's like a very new character. He's not. He's got a little fan base now, and that's great, but it's not nothing that would earn him. But there's a squirrel right outside my window just fucking staring at me. Yes? Yes, I'm working. Yes, move along. Thank you. Don't give me those eyes. Where's the cat when you need him? The cat is taking a nap in the living room. He doesn't care about this particular squirrel, I guess. What was I saying? Yeah, it might seem like he's really in the public space, but really it's just like he has a very small but very dedicated fan base. But no Rule 34 yet. I am curious if that's going to happen at some point. It feels like it might. At this point, I should just do it myself under a different name and just make some extra money. No, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I'm a good Catholic. I can't engage with that. What would Pastor Dave think? There's no Pastor Dave. I made that up. But yeah. I don't think he's quite at that level yet of popularity where he's going to be all over the internet. He does pop up sometimes, and that's been cool to see, like people writing reviews and like little discussion boards on Reddit being like, yo, have you guys heard of this book? And people, like a lot of you guys have been really cool about sending me that stuff. Just like I'm getting DMs being like, hey, look, these guys are talking about your book. And it's not even from my close friends, it's just people online who know me, who've just, being nice to share that with me, which I appreciate that. That's really sweet of you guys to somewhat instinctively know that I probably need to hear that stuff, so I know I'm not just working in vain over here. Black Marrow body pillow. These ideas are getting better and better, guys. I should hire you as my marketing team. Um, apparently, Gross Girl says it could. My first Kickstarter project got it real fast, though it was a dating sim, so that likely played a part. Got what real fast? Got Rule 34? Jacobo, congrats. Jacobo paid off half of his student loans. Hell yeah. Can I share something with you guys regarding student loans and to contribute to the joy? Everybody give Jacobo a high five. Because that is awesome. I just a few months ago finished paying off my student loans entirely, and it took me years. It started at almost $100,000. My student loans were out of control, and now it's zero. And a lot of that was because I started drawing for a living, and I make more money drawing than I did as a boxing coach or anything else. And I certainly don't make like, you know, I don't even make six figures, honestly, but like, you know, hopefully I'll get there soon. But essentially just saving money, doing tons of freelance work and drawing comics actually got me to paying off my loans. Like I'm done with student loans for the rest of my damn life, and they were plaguing my life for years. Like it was really stressing me out. And the fact that I was able to pay it off, I had help. Like my, you know, I'm not going to say that I did it all on my own. I have help from people that love me, a few, you know, bit of money here and there, but and I you know, I don't want to get into the specifics of it because it's not really public info of like who's loaning money to, you know, their kid or whatever. But yeah, it took a long time, and a lot of it was literally like I just changed my whole direction in life 5-6 years ago when I started drawing full time. I kicked everything else to the wayside and just decided I was going to do this, and I kept focusing on it, and eventually I got to a place where I was earning enough to pay off all these big lump sums that were still remaining, and you know, after you do that, you're back to kind of being broke, but it's fine because now you're at a higher income, you know, racket, but not racket, a higher bracket, tier, whatever. But that's one of the reasons I'm doing so much freelance now while also doing this, is because after paying that off, it's like, okay, I used a bunch of my money to pay that off, and now I don't have any left. And I have a wedding that we're paying for. So I'm just kind of like, you know, it's kind of a wide awake nightmare of how much money I need to earn, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. So I literally am like in factoring that into like when I do my next Kickstarter, because basically the whole thing with Kickstarter is, with comics anyway, is that usually it seems normal. I got to keep about 70% of the money I made on it. Okay, so because the other 30% or so goes toward printing, shipping, handling, all that stuff. And, you know, paying for that paying for that seems to take up a lot of the money. So factoring that in, I was like, oh, if I do another campaign for Black Marrow 2 in the next few months, it'll probably do a little better than book 1. Like it'll probably be up there a little bit, and when it is, that means that could be another few $1,000s that I get to put away. That's, you know, so why is this? There we go. But congratulations, Nick. I wasn't trying to. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to respond to your good news with my own. Like, as if one is more important than the other. You just reminded me of it. That's all. But I'm really happy, man. That's great. You're so close to paying off your loans, man. And I can't wait for you to have that feeling because it feels good. You asked why is it so dang high? It's really high because I was a very bad student for most of my life, including college, and I kept having to retake certain classes because I kept not showing up. My ADHD was out of control. I would just like not show up to class, then I'd have to take it again. I also had a couple of years where I was going through some stuff, some bad stuff, and I was just not showing up to class, but I couldn't take a semester off because it was like not okay with my parents that I do that when I was having a hard time. So instead I just kept like not doing so great in classes and having to take them over again in order to get my I was a mess. I was a mess, and it was for a friggin' art degree. It wasn't even like and it was something like an art degree which by the way I don't need because nobody really needs to get a degree in fine art to draw comics. In my opinion, it was not a good use of my money. For me, that's the truth. I don't know what it's like for other people, but yeah. So it was just a lot of money down the drain, and I don't know. If I could do it differently, I would. If I could do it again, I would certainly do it differently. But I can't, so I have to just accept the fact that was money that could have gone toward owning a house. And instead it went toward paying a bill for something I didn't even need to buy, which was an education at a university that I left there knowing, like, any information I've gained has not been through formal education. I don't know. As you can tell, guys, I'm not a huge fan of school. If when we're planning on having kids, and I was thinking about, like, if we have a child, hopefully we want to do something like a Montessori school or something that's more like, prepares the kid for the world outside in a way that's really, facilitating their desire to learn and finding their interest and their passions instead of just like, well, you got to go to college because that's what people do. It's like, well, not really. If I could do it all again, I would actually have gotten a degree in a trade. I would have done like a trade school, because then I could just like do, I don't know, air conditioning repair while I worked on my own stuff like this, But it worked out. Hey, look, it worked out. I have a pretty good career. I have a chat with Taco Force in it. Life is okay. What do you mean it's trailer? Edgar, do you mean a trailer for the next volume, or do you mean a trailer for like an animated film adaptation? Thanks, Taco Force. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Nick, when you're done paying off your loan, let me know, and we'll do like a little celebration on the stream for you. We'll do like a little Nick DeLuca party. Like, seriously, let me know. We will definitely like acknowledge it here together. I want to do that. What do you guys think of this page? The colors look a little odd to me on the stream. It's looking way more blue than it actually is. Taco Force, $20,000 I'm trying to pay off with an art side hustle. Yeah. How's that going so far? How is that endeavor? Here, let me let's adjust. It looks okay now. I don't know, whatever. The blue made him look really patriotic. Yeah, that makes sense. If it were me, I'd make the whole page blue since it's dark. Well, the whole point is that the room is lit by candlelight, so that's why I did so. I wanted it. I wanted it to be warm as well. Like I want the foreground to be kind of warm and the background to be a little bluish because the whole idea is that it's a dark room, but it's kind of lit by like really hot candlelight in these like old Victorian lanterns on the train. And it's interesting. It's an interesting problem to try to solve because what I'm trying to do is, you know, it's very tempting for the world of this story to be really murky and like lacking in color because, you know, it communicates a kind of spooky vibe. But a lot of people do that. For me, it's like what I'd rather do is have elements of that when in the world outside because I'm trying to think about the culture. Let me lean back and talk into my mic for you guys. The culture of the Raptured West is that these people live in an environment that is really scary. There's monsters everywhere, and it's like eternal. It's not really eternal night. There is daytime, but even the daytime has this kind of threat of the night coming. So if they're in a world that feels murky and scary all the time, it is likely that they would want their interior world to be kind of bursting with color and design and beauty because they're not going to get that. And for reference, I was looking at a lot of a lot of historical information on what it was like in the medieval age. Like things were super colorful inside, you know, because you were getting through a winter in the 1300s. You'd be like, you know, you want your house to be filled with art and color, and you know, here's a painting of Jesus, and the brick wall behind you is beet red and blue, and it's just like you just really. Because then you go outside and it's just like winter in England. And, you know. But, so I'm trying to take that approach to like what the people of this world would actually be like, how they would think. Like that's why even though they're in almost a post-apocalyptic, not quite post-apocalyptic world, it's a world teetering on the edge always. Everybody's really invested in their art. They're all making beautiful stuff all the time. It's important to me that you see what Black Marrow is trying to protect, which is the human spirit. And the human spirit expresses itself through design and art and architecture and, yeah. You gotta, it's hard to, my approach to this stuff, it's like, there's horror and there's spooky stuff, but you gotta make sure the audience always feels that this is a world worth saving. Otherwise, it doesn't quite work. If you get too far into the weeds of the spookiness of it, you can only maintain straight up horror and spooky monsters and ghosts and stuff for so long before you need to show people the other side of it, of what the human beings of this environment are trying to protect and sustain and all that. Anyways, I don't want to talk about it for too long. Excuse me. This might be finished. I'm trying to think, should she be in the shadow? Should I make her a little more mysterious here? Maybe not. Maybe the bottom is fine. You know, maybe the page is dark enough, honestly. It doesn't need anything else. Oh, thanks, Taco. Thank you so much, man. Here, let me, I'm gonna have to put up the cover for a second so that I don't NDA myself. Let's check the chat. Oh yeah, Nick, that was really cool actually. It was pretty interesting. I think you had sent that. Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what was in it, but I actually want to watch it again because I was kind of having it on the background. I was like, oh, this is interesting, but it is really cool, and it makes me interested in the kind of people that can think of stuff like that. It's not really how my brain works, so people that do have that ability, I want to know more. You know. Oh, Jacobo says, "Hey Ryan, what are your thoughts on the documentary that centers around Stan Lee's elder abuse?" I actually did not know about this, but well, here I'll put it like this. So I have worked in this industry for, a few years. I want to say like 12 years overall as an artist, and I would say literally, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, probably like 6 years before he died, there was already like rumblings about that stuff. I was personally already of the opinion that he was probably being horribly taken advantage of because he didn't seem to know where he was when you see this stuff. I remember seeing people who had seen him at a convention and being like, he doesn't know what he's doing, and they're just like plopping this poor old man down in a chair and just making him dance, yeah. So I haven't seen the documentary, but I am certain that the concerns are legitimate, and that he probably was horribly taken advantage of. Yeah, because I know a lot of people that had met him, and I never knew him, but I know people in comics that have known him, and we've talked. Like, I've known people who worked for DC Comics and Marvel. We've, hung out. I won't name names because I don't want to, people confided in me about this stuff. I was like their indie artist friend who they knew, who worked in the outskirts of the industry. Yeah, and it was pretty much like a known problem. Let's put it that way, that he was not being treated so well, and that he was basically at a point in his life where he was not, like, he was just like a figurehead, where you just plop the queen down She's like 100 years old. Yeah, it was just sad. And I heard about something where I remember years ago they were saying that, like, I think it was a thing with the nurse where she was collecting his blood and selling it. It's like fucking horrible. Did she ever do time for that? I might be mixing up some things there, but I remember it being pretty disgusting what was going on. The sheer evil of that, of taking advantage of somebody that old. I don't care how rich he is. It doesn't mean like you get to just do whatever you want to them. Open secret. Yeah, you're right, Gigi. She says there's a lot of those the closer you get to any industry. That is true. That is very astute. I agree with that. It really does seem like the kind of thing that it's hard to not find that crap happening whenever you see someone who's like, really wealthy and who's been wealthy for a long time and they're alone. You hope she did time for that. Yeah, dude. Did you hear about that, Gigi? Like, were you in the know about that? That there was something going on where it was like literally like selling something. Oh God, somebody help me. I don't want to have to Google it while on the stream, but it was something like she had like little bits of his blood and was using it as like Stan Lee's blood, and it was really. I thought it was a joke when I heard it. I was like, that's not real. I remember poop-eyeing and I was like, come on. And then it turned out it was all a real thing. Kevin Spacey was an open secret. Max Landis too. Yeah. And Kevin Spacey, don't get me wrong, he's a dirtbag for what he did. Max Landis is a literal rapist. He is a... And the difference is that Kevin Spacey, before I found out what he was like, I liked him. He seemed cool. Max Landis, I always despised. Max Landis is like his whole persona, the way he talks, his stupid like behavior. It's like everything that I cannot stand about a particular type of millennial. Like his whole. Oh God, I couldn't stand his. He was so like try hard. Like he was, even before I knew he was a creep, he just was someone who was trying so hard to be like disaffected and cool. And it was just like, shut up, you useless moron. And then he would talk about, like whenever he would talk about how great his ideas are for all these unused scripts he wrote, he would talk about it and he would verbatim tell you what he put in his script, and I'd be listening to him and be like, that's a terrible idea. Like, your ideas are not good. He's an awful writer. He made that stupid movie Bright, which was a piece of crap. Yeah, he's an awful writer. His comics were terrible. He had no fucking talent as far as I'm concerned. No talent. I don't think he was a very hard worker. I think he sucked. And so when I found out that he was a monster, I was like, that's horrible that those things happen, but I was also feeling like really validated, like, okay, I didn't like you, and now I'm right. I'm right that I didn't like you. Please disappear. And he did. Yeah, he had a weird cult of personality around him, much like Jared Leto, who for some reason, oh my God. Go off. Damn, I'm sorry. I just can't stand that type of dude. I just like that guy, that like 13-year-old edgelord somehow became a millionaire, or he was born into it, I guess. But friggin' Ezra Miller, he now his situation really bothers me because he should be in prison several times over, and the only reason he isn't is because of some Hollywood politics. Like, it's like some of it is like, I think, the fact that he came out as like non-binary at the exact same time that charges started coming up against him, which almost seems like a strategy on his part. Like, he knows people are going to be easier on him because he's in a minority. And then he went back and forth on the identity depending on how bad his crimes were, which was really funny to me. But honestly, the main reason that he didn't face charges, I think, was because he was like, at the same time that all this is happening, he was in a movie that was about to premiere. I think the Flash movie, so that the DC was like, wielding their enormous financial power, Warner Brothers, to keep him out of prison long enough for that movie to flop. But it was already going to fly. It was never going to be a huge hit because Ezra Miller is a terrible actor and not a big draw for audiences. So I don't know why you would put your your reputation in the gutter to protect someone who is a terrible person and also bad at his job. So there was a theory, there's some conspiracy theory, not a conspiracy, but just there's a theory people have is that Ezra Miller himself might have been abused by people in Hollywood, and he has like the names, because you could see that he was working as a young man, as a kid. He was a teenager, I should say, not even a man yet. And he's a real pretty, really good looking, pretty face. And you could imagine a 15-year-old kid who's that handsome and queer getting taken advantage of by all these Hollywood guys doing creepy, gross stuff to him. So I suspect that messed him up psychologically, and I suspect that that's one of the things that they were protecting him because of that. Because it's like if he, it's like, hey, if I go to jail, I'm naming all the guys who did all the creepy stuff, that does make me feel a little bad for him. But then also he was really abusive toward a lot of women. I heard all the stories about the way he was treating the women of the cult of personality surrounding him. Like he literally had a religious cult, a harem of women that were just worshiping him, these young girls, and he was horrible to them. So, just because you might be a victim doesn't give you the right to victimize other people. I've never seen Chronicle. I heard it was good. I have also never read his Superman comics, Max Landis. I read some of his other stuff and I didn't like it, but maybe his Superman comics are great, Jacobo. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum, as they say. Yeah. You know who but speaking of people who should get canceled is Jared Leto. I just saw this whole thing about Jared Leto and like what a piece of crap he is. And it's like, how is he not alongside all these other guys? Like, how did he get away with all the things that other people are getting canceled for the past 10 years or 8 years, I should say, Jared Leto's been doing? Like texting underage girls creepily, probably hooking up with underage girls, being really creepy and abusive to people that are like in his entourage. He has a literal religious cult. Like people, he literally dresses up as Jesus in some like cult. There's footage of it, of him like talking to large groups of mostly women who just like for some reason think he's like a deity. I don't know, something about these guys, they know how to like manipulate young women who are like looking for connection, and they all just worship him. And the stories about him, it's just like every other piece of crap. Grosko says he's not getting canceled because he's a joke. That's probably true. I think everybody laughs at him so much that it's like it's not as thrilling for people to take him down because he's already kind of a joke to people. But I don't know. He's really arrogant for someone who sucks. He's really like. I don't think he's a particularly good actor. I think he overacts. I think he's done some good performances. I thought he was great in Dallas Buyers Club. Jared Leto. I mean, I think his Joker was terrible, but I don't know how much of that I can blame on him. I don't think it's a good movie personally, but I think a lot of, I don't know. I just think he's getting overlooked as a monster. The Joker method acting maybe saved his life. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I think his time's coming up. His time's coming up. Yeah, Jacobo, what you're saying about Russell Brand, I hear you. I don't know too much about what he did before. I know he's like very intensely Reformed Catholic now, and some people are, I don't really have too much of an opinion. I don't know much about Brand. He seems, when you see him speak, Russell Brand is the male Gwyneth Paltrow. That's amazing. So I don't know much about. I know a lot of people don't like Gwyneth Paltrow. They find her to be really phony or something. I don't know what it is that they dislike about her so much, because I don't really know what she was doing. that in the late 90s, early 2000s, like everybody suddenly decided they couldn't stand her. And I remember being a kid, like I was 16, 15, and she showed up on Oprah like in the afternoon when my mom was watching, and I was like kind of watching over her shoulder, and it was Gwyneth Paltrow appearing on Oprah, and it was like before internet hate was really common. So she was like wringing her hands and being like, I just don't know why so many people like hate me so much. And I was like, wow. Oh man. And there was a whole thing about it of like, but Jacobo, I hear you like about how much it bothers you as a Catholic when people use the Bible to hide their BS. Because it really bothers me too. And for years I was like not religious, and then in the past couple of years I've been like, you know, I still feel like a Catholic, and I think Jesus was pretty awesome, and I think he had some good ideas, and I think a divine power, a sense of a divine power, gives people some nice structure in life. However you want to put that, you know, and when you see people like manipulate that and you know, to hide their BS and to like, oh, I see. A gross girl's explaining it. She's a phony woo-woo crystal snake oil salesman. Yeah. Oh, she has that brand, right? Goop, that stuff that she sells for your skin. Yo, what's up, K-pop? How you doing? I'm happy to see you. Welcome. It's been a while since we've spoken. How are you feeling? You were sick for a long time when I spoke to you before. Sorry, I don't mean to. Maybe you didn't want people to know that, but you had some, like, she had some serious congestion and some nasal discomfort that was lasting her for like a really long time. So I wanna know that she's doing better. I'm gonna adjust the camera, guys, because the lamp overhead is really mucking up the works over here. I guess I can't. I guess I just have to turn off the light. Yeah, sorry. Can't do anything else about it. All right. Okay, so I might start a new page. Let's start a new page. Hold on. Gotta check my Dropbox folder and see which pages I still need. Well, you know what? Before I start a new page, I have to fix this page. So I think that'll be the next thing I do today. Where is it? Where are you, page? Reveal yourself to me. Oh, I guess I don't have it here. Okay, hold on, guys. Sorry. So here's what's happening, guys. This um, this page, very happy with it. The only thing I need to change is his outfit for this character Canterbury, who's kind of like a Frankenstein type. I changed his outfit. I went for this was a little more pared down. And then I went for something a little more fantasy, which is here. So I gave him like a big hood, and he looks more like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein as opposed to Universal Pictures Frankenstein. So he's got like more long stringy hair. He looks a little more like a he still has that big hat. It's on his back, and he's gonna have a hat over the hood at some point, which I think is like a nice balance between Victorian Frankenstein type character and cowboy-ish, or Western, I should say. And the redesign, I just needed to give him a little more detail, a little more something in the outfit, and he's a big old powerhouse of a character. So I needed his presence to feel, strong. So yeah, here's a bust of him as he. Right there, he looks a little too good looking. He's got to look a little rougher though. But anyways, so now with this page, I gotta integrate those patterns a little bit. That's what's happening. So I'm gonna just right on top of this existing page, I'm gonna draw the hood, and I'm gonna maybe have the hood slide back so you can see his face a little bit, Yeah, you're dealing with life. Are you feeling better though, K-pop? Oh no, I see. I missed your message. Sorry. Still working? Okay, on the medical stuff. Yeah, let's K-pop. Let's have a phone call sometime. I want to catch up. I called you a couple times when we were first talking, and I was on your show and stuff. I feel like I want to like call you and check up and see how you're doing, if that's all right with you. I'm sorry I fell out of contact because K-pop she's a really good friend. She's a wonderful person. And I got so busy with the Kickstarter that I just like fell out of contact while I was doing all this stuff. Let me see. Sometimes starting a new page makes me think of that Family Guy skit about nice little things. The first scissor snips of construction paper. I do think I remember that. Did you watch Family? I feel like you probably loved Family Guy when you were younger, right, Gigi? Maybe you still like it now, but I'm just saying, you strike me as someone who would have watched a ton of Family Guy growing up. Because you're very funny. You're a comedian, in a lot of ways, and you are an animator. You draw cartoons. So it feels like that would be your something you would love. I still like Family Guy. I know a lot of those jokes haven't aged so well, but there's something about the nostalgia of how much I used to love watching that. Just the stupid jokes and the cutaways. Canterbury gives me a Judge Holden vibe. Which was Judge Holden? I feel like I know that name. Got them Pilgrim vibes too. What's up, Artie? How you doing, man? I keep up with a lot of people. I try. I try to. It's been a bit of a change because I used to not keep up with anybody, and then in the past 6 months, it's like I feel like I've made a lot of new friends, and I want to keep them. So. I've watched it a lot. Oh, American Dad! I remember only seeing a little bit of it, but I thought it was pretty funny. Bob's Burgers. Bob's Burgers is great. Bob's Burgers is art. It's true. Bob's Burgers is like, I feel like that show. I saw like the first 3 seasons, and I was like, this is genius. It's really good. And that is a show where the voice acting, the animation, everything about it is funny. It's hilarious. You watched Family Guy when you were 4? I don't know. There's something I kept thinking of when I was in Italy was the Family Guy episode where Peter grows a mustache, and he's like convinced it gives him all these incredible abilities. He's like, oh, I can definitely speak, I can definitely speak Italian now, and he just starts. He's like arguing with this guy at a pizza place, and the guy's speaking real Italian, and Peter just keeps going, a bippity boppity boopy, a bippity boppity prego. He just keeps like saying random shit, and the guy's speaking real Italian back to him. The whole thing is just him doing that. It's just him being like, a bippity boppity boopy. I know there's probably a better way to do this, but this is the way I'm doing it, apparently. Yeah, I think this is going to be the right way to go with this. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to just redraw parts of this because this is not not what I'm looking for. So it's a shame too because I like the way his shoulders look there, but this is the price you pay. Let me check the chat. Sorry. Lois is your spirit animal. Lois is hilarious. Yeah, I really like Lois. I never caught Space Ghost when it was on Adult Swim. I just missed it. Yeah, I know that Dynamite's been doing some cool things with Space Ghost, like legit superhero in outer space type thing. I think Alex Ross did a cover for it, right? He painted this beautiful cover. Oops, I hit the mic. I hit the camera. Sorry, guys. Okay, now I have to do one of these where I'm going to bring in one of these images as a reference. Here. So now I kind of look at this. Okay, he's got shoulder thing. Got it. Okay. By the way, guys, I'm taking requests from the audience for any royalty-free music you'd like me to put on, because I'm just playing random shit. What's this? Oh, hell yeah. Wipe out audio is always a good idea. So yeah, I moved into this design for this character because I wanted something a little more eye-catching. Granted, I think the simpler design also definitely has its merit. But I wanted him to. He was looking a little bit like something out of like Hotel Transylvania before, which is just like not the vibe that I want. Let's see. Ryan makes art look super easy. I appreciate that, K-pop. I appreciate that it looks that way. I don't know. I guess. I mean, almost everyone in the chat right now, you guys are all people who draw. Either some of you are professionals, some of you are amateur, but you're all people who draw. And I wonder, when you draw, does it feel hard or does it feel easy? Does it feel like it comes naturally, or do you feel like it's a constant struggle to get the things to look the way you want? Also, did somebody mention Silverhawks in the chat? I used to love Silverhawks. That was the animated series, right? I used to think Silverhawks was so awesome. Their intro, that animation, those costume designs, they looked so cool. Yeah, I used to love that show. There you go. There you go. Now it's looking. So the last change I made was to his hair. I gave him like whitish hair before. So I'm gonna go here. Like that, yeah. This was one of the changes I made. And I think there's going to be like more of it. Could you drop that link, Edgar, to that video, that breakcore playset? Just drop it right into the chat here if you can. Looking at the chat, everybody seems to agree drawing is hard. I hear you guys. Ryan hears you. Okay, this page might actually be done. Let me get a little more detail on that. There you go. All right. I think this page is done now. Edgar should be able to post links. Here, I'll check the Discord. I mean, I'm almost done anyways, but... Oh, also, I just checked the Discord. I saw what you sent me, like, an hour ago. I'm sorry. I know you wanted to show me, like, an hour ago, but... it's really good, Gross Girl. I really like the way you draw Black Marrow. You actually have a pretty good handle on his look. Is he wearing like a Oh, I see, he's wearing a novelty ears headband. Oh, are you suggesting that I make a product like this for people who want to dress up as Black Marrow? Is that what you're saying? It's not a bad idea. Okay, I'm putting on the breakcore mix. But I'm only going to play it for a minute because I'm signing off in a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot the context of it, but I like the drawing. Done, yeah. So I think this is probably the end of this page. So to review everything I got done, for anybody who's interested, I finished the redesign of him in this page. So this is done. And this page, we did all the colors for this page. This page is also done. So, sorry, my fiance's home. She's talking to the cat. Yeah, so that's it for today. It's my first stream back. God bless you. Thanks for showing up. K-pop, I'm glad you dropped in. Everybody else, my regulars, I love it. Love you guys. Yes, Jacobo, it's in the Discord. It's right underneath the streaming link. Okay, guys. Good night. Or good afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks for stopping in. I'll see you guys in the Discord. We'll see you later.